Brad, what do you need to do to put right what went wrong, should we say, as of a couple of weeks ago in Belfast?
Yeah, I think firstly we need to look after the ball better. That's the biggest thing. We turned over the ball far too often, too early in the phase count, and so when we did achieve turnovers defensively, we gave the ball back pretty quickly to the opposition. So, and the knock-on effect of that was that we weren't able to put any pressure on the scoreboard. We weren't able to put any pressure on Ulster's defence, and we really didn't get an opportunity to fire a shot. So, you know, our ball retention, ball control, making good decisions when we have the ball, and when to offload, and when to play wide, when to kick is going to be of paramount importance for us.
You must have been pleased, though, you know, with your defence that night.
We had a really good a good evening defensively. There were still areas of our game that we definitely could have improved on. In saying that, they've still got exactly the same threats as they had a few weeks ago, and we know if they have that amount of possession that they had that night, it's going to be another really big ask of us to get across the finishing line.
Of course, Justin should be back. What kind of difference will he make?
He's a world-class player, isn't he? And he's a defensive leader for us out on the field. World-class player. It's always better to have him in your ranks than not on the field. So, you know, he's a very classy operator. So it's good that he's fit and raring to go for the game on Sunday.
You've got a few players leaving, final game. Could you just say a few words about Dan Biggar, his influence at the Ospreys, where he stands as a fly-half that you've coached?
He's been unbelievable, really. I personally, being able to coach a player of that calibre has been a privilege from my perspective. The characteristics that I really love about Dan is his desire just to win everything, whether that be on the training field or out on the field of play. He's just an incredible competitor. I think his influence to the Ospreys and to Wales Rugby, I think everyone's fully aware of just what he's given to the game in this neck of the woods. So, you know, he's going to be missed. I think he's really in the last, especially 10 weeks, 12 weeks. I think he's signed after he signed his contract and announced that he was leaving to go to Northampton. I think he's become even a stronger acquisition for us and has really led from the front out in the training field and also in games. So, you know, like, I can't speak highly enough of him as an individual, and he's going to be missed. In terms of, you know, the 10s that I've coached with in the past, you know, like I said, one of the most competitive 10s I've ever worked with. A fantastic kicking game, but I think he's just in regards to his pure desire to win, that he operates on a day in, day out basis. I think he's probably been the best in that regard.
What about Ashley Beck? You know, there's a school of thought that he might be one of the most underrated players in the wider Welsh rugby community over the last decade.
Yeah, I think Ashley is one of the smartest rugby players that I've been again privileged to coach. His understanding of the game is second to none. His feel, I think, of the game has been is really top end, and he's another really classy operator. Unfortunately for Ashley, you know, injuries have hampered what he has been able to do in terms of his stamp on the national game, but in terms of his rugby IQ, it's as good as anyone I've known.
Last one from me, really. Is there an easy way to stop Jacob Stockdale?
Don't throw him intercepts is the best way. No, he's you know, if you look at all a lot of the tries that he's picked off in the Six Nations and also in the league campaign, he's got a really good feel of where to get high in the defensive line and pick off loose balls. He's also you know, if he does get an opportunity of a sniff of a line, he's shown that he's a deadly finisher. So he's just one of their threats. especially in the back line. You've got McCloskey, who's big ball carrier, big offload game. Marshall, who I think's quite underrated out there. He's a punchy operator, and also, you know, you look at Charles at the 15 shirt, who create something out of nothing. So, you know, they're not the first in line breaks. You know, in the league for nothing. They've got some real strike weapons out there, and I think what we do with the ball is going to have to be really, really accurate, and what we do without the ball is going to have to be physical and very intelligent.
I mean, Rory Best might be a doubt. How much of a blow would that be to Ulster and a boost to Ospreys?
You know, sometimes that can be a real a galvaniser for the opposition when they lose a player of that kind of influence. You know, Rory Best obviously is an outstanding player at club, international level, and also British and Irish line. So it's obviously always a boost when someone of that calibre may or may not take to the park. In saying that, you know, the guy that got coming in as a replacement is a very handy player in himself. So, you know, I think this game's is not so much about the opposition we're playing, it's about what we can deliver out on the field. And, you know, there's only one thing that matters for us this Sunday is getting the W.
Are there any injury concerns or any players coming back into contention?
No, we're pretty much looking at a full bill of health over the last since the last few weeks. So we've had a really short, sharp training week, getting ready for this fixture, and we all know what's at stake. So the importance of this game is not lost on this group.
Has it been difficult with such a long break to keep the sort of momentum going?
Not so much difficult. Obviously, we gave the guys a bit of a break after the Cardiff game, because you just couldn't continue to keep training with not a game coming up on the weekend. So it was important that we freshened up the boys. We've come back in over the last 2 weeks, obviously focusing with this game in hand, and more about focusing on ourselves. But the performance on game day is going to be massively important. But I think at this stage, with this game in mind, it's been pretty easy to keep the guys on task and motivated, because they know what's at stake.
As a defence coach, when you come up against a team with a player like Charles Peter, who's obviously world class, do you have to devise a game plan to stop him, or is that a danger that you sort of put too much focus on one player, and do you have to sort of look at it as the whole, or do you have to sort of pinpoint him and have to stop him?
Yeah, there is that danger, isn't it, that you focus on just one or two individuals, and then, like I said, they've got other threats, and you know, one of the major threats is them as a team and the way they play the game, which is going to be a challenge in itself. I think with the likes of those individuals, as a defence coach, you try and highlight, you know, some of their key traits, and you try and make the players aware that, you know, when this guy gets the ball, we're going to have to be on alert on all areas, and try to work in our threes defensively, into our fives, into our sevens, understand the threat he poses, but also feel confident that we've done our homework. And you know, we delivered that out there a few weeks ago, and we're going to have another big ask on our hands this Sunday.
With the new signings for next season, it's probably safe to say next season's squad will be stronger. How important then is it to be in the Champions Cup so that they can be playing at a high level?
Well, I think every player at the Ospreys, we want to be playing in the top competition of Europe, and you know, it's important from the club from a financial perspective. It's important for the players, because we want to test ourselves against the likes of, you know, Toulon, Racing, Leinster's. We want to be there. We want to try and progress out of the group to try to get to knockout rugby stage. But it's not so much about the new players coming in, but we feel as a region that's a table that we want to be eating at. And we have this opportunity right now on Sunday to deliver that, and that's what we intend to give it our best shot.
Obviously, they're a big club or province, as are you. They'll obviously want to be in the Champions Cup as well, otherwise they'd see it as a disaster. Are you expecting an onslaught then? Is that the key, surviving that sort of early pressure and staying in the game? I
think the first 20 minutes will be, in most knockout games of rugby, are pretty vital in terms of the platform you can lay with the ball and without the ball. the tone that you can set for the remainder of the match. There's going to be, in all, very important games and games against two probably well-balanced teams. I think there's going to be moments in the game where we're going to have to, Ulster will have their period of pressure and sustained pressure, and we're going to have to manage our way out of that and try and fight our way out of that. At the same time, when we get our chance to put the pressure on the opposition, we're going to have to try and convert that into points. That's the same as any rugby game. And it's the side that can take advantage of those moments, and the side that can manage to minimise those moments will be the side that comes out on top.
When you look at what the Blues have got out of being in the Challenge Cup, obviously this year, and it seems to be an unwritten rule of Heineken Cup, Champions Cup rugby, the Ospreys are put in the group of death. You put those two facts together, just how important is this game? Because there is an argument that you'd be better off in the other competition than aspiring to win it. Yeah,
do you know what I mean? The Challenge Cup is a lot stronger competition than what it was arguably, 3-4 years ago, with the setup being much more competitive. I think you always you look across and you see, regardless of the competition they're in, teams playing in finals, and you think to yourself, I wouldn't mind a piece of that myself. And we had that opportunity a couple of seasons ago where we got to the quarters against Stard, but fluffed our lines a little bit. I think at the same breath, you play top end rugby to play against the top end teams, and our players are no different. So I think the fact that we had the opportunity to play Claremont, we had the opportunity to play Saracens home and away. I think we would take that every day of the week, as opposed to, no disrespect, to go out to some of the lesser known regions of the Challenge Cup. So it's a really important for this region that we operate at the top table, and like I said, that message hasn't been lost on our players.